Hi, I'm April, and I just want to talk to you about a little something regarding the last several years. I had this career that looked really, really good from the outside, really, really good on paper. But by 2024, it was absolutely killing me. And if you have ever felt the same way or the same thing, like you're living someone else's version of what success is, stay with me, okay? So, story time. I used to be a cybersecurity analyst, a senior analyst. I was in that role for about 7 years. I had a great title, great title. I had the title, I had a great salary. I was respected and I believe valued by the organization and coworkers and management, that type of thing. And I had friends that would say, look at the work, the role, the income I received, and just would say, you should be happy because, many women would kill to be in your shoes, or love to be in my position. But inside, I was just exhausted. This had been building up for 5 years, just overworking, burnt out, and over it, essentially. I would work, not just your Monday through Friday, but also before work. I would be on the laptop after work, and then on the weekends, just wanting to get the work done. And as you all know, if you've ever worked in certain environments, corporate environments, etc., there's never really any done, any point at which you are complete, you have completed the work. There's always more. And so week after week and over and over again, it was the same type of thing. I would never feel like I was accomplishing anything. I know that I was, but the idea of there's always something else, it lends to this feeling of not being in a space of satisfaction, because there's always something else to do. You finish one project and there's another one there, or that's in process, that you have to pick up and continue carrying forward. New things that are coming down the line, new responsibilities. There's always something more. Now, let me say this. Part of this was my responsibility. Absolutely my responsibility. I'm that type of person who just keeps my head down and I just work. Just get it done. Just dig in. I don't speak up. I don't push back. And when things were getting tough, I just kept, digging in. And it's like, okay, let me just keep working, work harder, work longer, to try and get through it. Now, in March of 2024, because of all of this, I had decided to give my notice, give my 2-week notice at work. I was so miserable during this time that I decided to just do it, even though I didn't have another job lined up. I had nothing else, but I just needed to leave. I said, I'm just done. I'm done. I'll figure it out. During this time, certain things were affecting me. My head was hurting like all the time, and I felt this anxiety in my gut all the time of, I'm not doing enough, I'm not getting enough done, I'm not working fast enough, all the things. So I saw that the circumstance as well as how I manage things, that they were not changing. I felt like I was stuck. And then I had some thoughts that were kind of probably unusual. I felt that, and just like anyone else would probably feel, is that the job is taking advantage of you, and they only want what you can produce for them. And that's just any job, and I understand that. I definitely understand that. But at that time, I felt that this was so much something that was just affecting me, that I refused to take advantage of some of the company benefits, the employee benefits. For example, we had a gym within our building, and I said, no, I'm not going to use your facilities. I felt like the facilities, other types of benefits, they had like a lot of health webinars and other types of things that were of benefit to the employees. I didn't want to take advantage of them because I felt like it was a sort of, payoff, bribe, that the company is, we'll give you this little pittance for you to work yourself to death. I didn't want any part of that at all. So all of this was parts of the reason why I said I just need to leave. I've been doing this too long. I was feeling my health was being affected, physically, like I would not go out and, like they say, every so often get up and walk around, maybe go outside, get some fresh air. I was sitting there. I would sit there and just work and work and work, wouldn't stand up. And I can tell through the years that this was affecting me. Okay. And then, so, these were all things that fed into why I didn't want to be employed any longer. So one day, my manager said, hey, how are you doing? Called me on a video call and asked how I was doing. And I said, I'm okay. And then he said, well, is there something that you want to tell me? And I'm like, okay, man, he knows. And it's like, I only told one person on the job that I was going to leave. And I said, why did you tell him? And so anyway, I told him that, I hadn't planned on talking to him this early, but that I was planning on giving my notice at the end of the week, because this was a Monday and I was going to give my notice on Friday. And so he said, I didn't know you were feeling this way, that you were feeling so strongly about everything, about the job, about the work, etc. And so he said, before you decide to leave or put your notice in, let me propose something to you. And so I'm like, okay, what is it? What can you propose? And I don't know if there's anything you can do. And so he said, how about I give you 30 days paid time off, like a sabbatical, a raise, and also when you come back, if you decide to come back, I'll get you a couple of contractors who can help with the workload. Yes, I changed my mind. I said yes, because I really didn't have anything to lose by trying. At the very least, it would be a month's time off with free pay. I was not against that idea. So, eventually I did go on my sabbatical. A couple of weeks later, I went to San Miguel de Allende, Mexico. Beautiful, beautiful place. And if you're ever taking time off from work or just want to go somewhere on a beautiful vacation, go there. It's awesome. So anyway, sabbaticals. The only thing I knew about a sabbatical was that I thought that they were only for professors, for them to be able to take time off from like a month to a year off, where they can go and not be burdened by their normal teaching schedule, but also to be able to write, research, and publish during this time, so they can see the college or the university can see the value in giving them that time off. Now, on the other hand, my version of sabbatical was that I was using it to benefit me 100%. I was sleeping when my body said to sleep. I was waking when it said to wake up. It really, really, really gave me time to think. What do you actually want to do? I mean, April, you can't continue working like this. You can't continue just being overwhelmed and not speaking up and allowing the work to take your life and to not have your personal time, and just have that as be the focus. So now during this time, something became very, very, very clear. In fact, crystal clear to me, that, measuring that, 45 plus hours a week were not required for me to be able to live and to support myself. Because get this, so I was thinking about it in this way. So for this entire month, I have 0 hours worked, yet I'm still living. I'm still supported financially. I'm more whole. That whole concept made me start thinking in a different way. And so in that month, that sabbatical, it planted a seed in my brain. Now, here we are 2 years later, I built the Calm Creator Studio. And it was mainly for myself, but also for women who, like me, between 45 to 65, who want to earn differently and not do it in a way that's about the hustle, hustling on a job, not about hustling with a second job, like a part-time job that is actually draining whatever's left of you. I saw in friends and other women that there is this desire to do this, to be able to earn this extra income on the side. But because of time, lack of energy, and just not being clear, they weren't able to do this. For example, if they had family situations, their children, their mates, their parents, if they're like in this sandwich generation, or if they had jobs that were just too exhausting that they weren't able to even think about doing anything else. That mental clarity just wasn't there. And then for both of those groups of women, they really, whether or not they were able to take that step, they really didn't have any idea of where to start. So this coaching, this is what it is. It's coaching for these women. So this idea is exactly who this is for. It's for them to be able to do so by using their knowledge, the skills, and their experience that they already have. So, if this fits you, if you happen to be watching this video and you say, hey, that sounds like something that is important to me, or a place that I am in, I want you to know that this is something for you, that you're not starting over, and that you can be finally beginning. I want to hear from you. So Was there ever a moment when you realized that the life you built wasn't quite the life that you wanted? Drop it in the comments, and even if it's just one word, because I read every single one. And if this message resonated with you, subscribe. There's so much more where this came from.